stay off the damn weed. And they don't listen. Stupid.
Stephen A. Smith has become one of the most well-known sports broadcasters and analysts in the world, if not the most famous. Appearing on both Fox Sports and currently ESPN, Smith's passionate ways, which will usually include him raising his voice, has become a staple in the sports world. Especially after the departure of his former co-host Skip Bayless, who moved to Fox Sports in 2016, Smith has become the new face of ESPN. He currently hosts the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio, frequently appears on NBA pre-shows, usually for the finals, and of course, First Take with Max Kellerman and Molly Karam. With all this exposure, Stephen ain't just getting paid the big bucks, he's also rich in clout. At the time of this recording, he's got over 7 million followers on social media, with 4.27 million on Twitter, 2 million on Instagram, and just under 1 million on his Facebook page. Smith also guest starred on a couple episodes of General Hospital and played himself in the film Almost Christmas.
Like I'd ever pass up the chance to talk to you.
See, that's what I wanted to hear.
All right.
Okay.
All of his success in the sports world has allowed him to earn an estimated net worth of around $10 million, but that may significantly increase, as it is being reported that he may sign a $10 million per year extension with ESPN, making him their highest paid on-camera talent the company has ever had. So it looks like he won't have to be waiting around for General Hospital to call him back to set once again. The dude is getting paid. But you'd be surprised at some of the things he spends his fortune on. What's going on, guys? My name is Jared Bronstein and welcome back to The Rich Life. In our last few videos we covered 76ers star Ben Simmons, and I've done videos on other celebrities such as Rihanna and Lil Nas X, to name a few. We also recently did a Before They Were Famous on Stephen A. Smith, as well as his old co-host Skip Bayless, so keep sending your requests in the comments down below. Today's trivia question is, what was Stephen A. Smith's very first car? You guys gotta let me know your answers in the comments down below, and as always, I'll be answering that question at the end of this video, but let's get on with the show. I don't know why I said it like that, we'll just roll the intro. Stephen A. Smith was born on October 14th, 1967 in the Bronx, New York. He is the youngest of 6 children with 4 older sisters and a younger brother who tragically passed away in a car accident in 1992. Smith's parents are from the St. Thomas Virgin Islands, with his mother Janet Smith working 16-hour days, 7 days a week to provide for the family. Smith's dad was believed to manage a hardware store, but was also known to be an outstanding baseball and basketball star who was drafted by the Giants back in the 1950s, according to Stephen himself. Smith would play basketball throughout college, which is also where he would catch his big break from a professor at Winston-Salem State. He would start his career working for the Winston-Salem Journal before moving to the New York Daily News and the Philadelphia Inquirer. As many of you know, Smith would jump from print to TV and radio hosting, which he still currently does. We recently did a Before They Were Famous video on Stephen A, so check that out after this video to hear a more in-depth version about his rise to becoming a prominent figure in sports broadcasting history.
Are you finished?
For now.
Do not interrupt me. Max Kellerman, let's be clear.
Smith's reputation at being extremely honest and blunt would quickly grab the attention of the sports world. His rise to success would really come when he started hosting First Take with former co-host Skip Bayless. Smith gives credit to his former partner for the amount of success he's been able to find, hosting multiple TV shows and broadcasts on ESPN, as well as having his own radio show, The Stephen A. Smith Show, on ESPN radio stations.
I got a lot to thank him for, and I'm going to always be grateful because in some small way he's responsible for what I've been able to achieve.
After Smith's return to ESPN in 2011, he would join the crew of First Take in 2012. His contract with ESPN was believed to be anywhere between $3 to $5 million per year. A handful of sources seem to believe he is currently making $5 million per year, but that number is expected to change sooner than later. Especially since the departure of Skip Bayless in 2016, Smith's stock in the sports world, and more specifically ESPN, has significantly risen. On top of all this, it's believed he's also paid an extra $1 million per year because of his radio show.
With you over the airways of ESPN Radio, ESPN News, 250 plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM, FM listing nearest you, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News.
Smith is reportedly in line to receive a contract extension in the ballpark range of $8 to $10 million per year, making him the highest paid talent at ESPN and one of the highest paid sports broadcasters in history. His current deal with the sports giant is expected to expire in 2021, but I can guarantee ESPN will lock Smith up for years to come, even if it's just because of the memes. This dude is crushing it on the internet.
You lied to me! Oh my God! There's so much to look forward to. I'm so excited. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams, but this is exactly what I've been.
Even Smith himself knows he deserves to be their highest paid broadcaster. In a conversation at Seton Hall University with Bob Lee, when asked about what he's currently getting paid, Smith said the following: "Those who are great get more than those who are not. Let me be unapologetic in what I'm about to say. Everybody at ESPN or in the world of sports media does not deserve to get paid what I get paid. I don't believe it. I didn't bust my tail all of these years for somebody to come along late and say, damn it, it's about fairness. We think you should get paid as much as you. What? You don't generate the revenue I generate. You don't generate the ratings I generate. You ain't as popular as me. You don't resonate as much as me. You don't deserve as much as I get."
Everybody at ESPN or in the world of sports media does not deserve to be paid what I get paid. I don't believe it. I just don't. And I'll never apologize for it.
I mean, he's really got a point. He really has become one of the faces of ESPN and sports broadcasting in general. So now that he's in line to make almost double what he's currently making, let's talk about what he spends his money on. Smith isn't the flashiest of guys, although occasionally he can be seen wearing a nice watch or a bracelet. Aside from that, he doesn't really flaunt his wealth too much. When it comes to clothes, as I'm sure many of you guys know, Smith is almost always wearing a dress shirt, suit, and tie, which is obviously due to the fact that it's his work attire. But when he's not working, which seems to be very rare for the man, he's usually dressed a little more casually, as you can see right here. Now, Smith tends to keep his personal life quite private. It's believed he's single and doesn't have any children, although there was a rumor he has a son, which he has denied on his radio show. With all the millions the man is making, I'm sure he treats himself a fair bit. In an Instagram video Smith posted in what seems to be his house, you can tell he is living quite nice.
Okay, we did it. We drafted R.J. Barrett, the New York Knicks. They got their man, all right. He wasn't Zion, he's not Zion.
When it comes to cars, well, Smith definitely splurged on himself. Ugh, that kinda sounded gross. Depending on the day, Smith can be seen driving around in a Range Rover or Mercedes S-Class. More specifically, Smith owns a Range Rover SV Autobiography, which is supercharged with a V8 engine and has an extra 5.5 inches of rear legroom due to the extended wheelbase. The luxurious SUV, of course, comes with quite a hefty price tag, around $200,000. When speaking on the car, Smith said, I quote, "It's the best SUV I've ever had in my life. It's black, it's got British tan interior, and it is a driving machine to say the least. I've driven in every SUV you can imagine. I've never been in anything like the Range Rover." Aside from his SUV, Smith is also known to own a very classy Mercedes. More specifically, the Mercedes-Benz S550, which Smith explains is a luxury sedan, which is ultra smooth and is incredibly comfortable. The Benz also has an extremely hefty price tag, starting out at $150,000. Aside from his home and cars, Smith of course needs some vacation time. Although it seems like the man never takes time off, let alone sleeps, Smith is known to travel to his parents' home of St. Thomas, a trip he takes at least once a year. Smith considers it a second home for him, with many of his relatives and family still living there. He also cites the beach and island life as a necessity when you live the way he does, constantly on his grind and working or hosting multiple shows. But unfortunately for Smith, the grind never really does stop. He even cut his vacation early to cover the Kawhi Leonard news of him signing to the LA Clippers.
I am not supposed to be here today. I am on vacation. This is the first show since Kawhi Leonard pulled off a heist of epic proportions.
Aside from spending his wealth on himself, Smith has also been reported to make a hefty charitable donation to his former school. More specifically, it was reported back in January of 2016 that Smith would be donating a total of $250,000 or $50,000 per year to Winston-Salem State University over the span of 5 years. Smith graduated from Winston-Salem back in 1991 and also started working for the Winston-Salem Journal as a part-time clerk during his college years. When asked about the donation, Smith was quoted saying, "It's the right thing to do." Among all of his success, Smith also has to thank his agents and managers for his salary. Although he used to be with Headline Media Management in New York, in 2016 Smith decided to take his talents west to Creative Artists Agency in LA. The move happened around the same time Skip Bayless went to Fox Sports 1, with sources claiming Smith wanted to renegotiate his deal with ESPN and that he wanted Skip Bayless money. Whatever that means. It means a lot more. Clearly CAA didn't do what they needed to do to keep Smith happy, because The Hollywood Reporter broke the news in February of 2019 that he would be leaving CAA and joining WME, William Morris Endeavor, arguably the top agency in the world, neck and neck with CAA. It's also incredibly important to mention that Stephen A. Smith most recently signed a massive deal with the New York Knicks at $500 million for just 10 days. Alright, clearly that was a joke, but it is safe to say Smith is doing quite well for himself. Now before we end this one, we gotta talk about his first whip. I asked you guys at the start of this video what Smith's first car was. Well, it turns out his mother bought him a 1985 Mercury Topaz in 1988 while Smith was still in college. Smith went on to explain, "I needed to get it because I kept having to drive back and forth from Winston-Salem State. I was very determined to be successful. You had these journalism conferences and internships, and we were poor. My mother was struggling to afford anything, and I would beg her, 'Mom, if you give me the car, I'm going to make this into something.' She was hesitant. I said, 'I'll tell you what, if you give me the car, I'll be able to work and I won't need to bother you for money.' And the second I said that to her, she turned around the ride for me within 48 hours. He would go on to buy himself a 1994 Honda Accord after becoming a full-time journalist. Alright guys, I'm wrapping this one up. My name is Jared Bronstein. Be sure to check out the Before They Were Famous we just did on Stephen A. Smith a few days ago, and of course, let us know in the comments down below who you'd like to see next. We also recently just covered Skip Bayless. Maybe next up will be Shannon Sharp or Colin Hurd. Whoever you guys want, you gotta let us know in the comments down below. You can also find me on Instagram or Twitter at Bronst7. Feel free to DM me your suggestions as well. I'll catch you in the next one.